And I'm gonna tell y'all the truth about Canelo. Easy, man. Cakewalk. Easy. Y'all sitting up here, y'all praising this dude. This dude was nothing.
No, bro, I know Crawford, and he's different. And see, the only thing different here is Canelo is not a bigger guy at that weight. He's not like he's standing 6'1", 6'2", like before.
Terence Crawford's been amazing with everything that he's done. So,
after practicing with Terence Crawford, Floyd Mayweather gives Canelo Alvarez a daring warning. Reminding supporters that he defeated him at almost 40, he says Canelo is simple work. Floyd chastises the persistent disregard for American fighters, claiming that although Canelo isn't as dangerous as the hype suggests, people act as like he is untouchable.
You can take a guy like Canelo, this guy can do, he can pick and choose who he want to fight. And I'm gonna tell y'all the truth about Canelo. Easy, man. Cakewalk. Easy. Y'all sitting up here, y'all praising this dude. This dude was nothing. I was almost 40 years old when I cooked this dude. Easy. Y'all always disrespecting our fighters.
Live, only on DAZN, June 28th. Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
Terence Crawford is considered a once-in-a-generation fighter by Jeff Mayweather, one who possesses the uncommon capacity to ascend divisions while maintaining dominance. Jeff claims that only Crawford has the ability to advance and take on Canelo Alvarez, feels that Crawford is on a completely different level due to his style, discipline, and ring IQ. He believes Crawford is the more complete fighter, both psychologically and technically, even though Canelo may be stronger and more experienced. Jeff observes Crawford outperforming Canelo, not just surviving.
All right, Jeff, looks like we got a fight coming up in the fall here between Terence Crawford and Canelo. Fight that's been talked about a long time. Initial thoughts on the potential of this fight?
Great fight, two great fighters. I think that moving up 2 weight classes is kind of tough, but if anybody can do it, I think it would be Terence Crawford. I mean, skill-wise, I think he's a better fighter than Canelo, but Canelo is also a great fighter but he owns that weight class that he's in. So I would just say that I think that Crawford has to fight almost a perfect fight to win, and take advantage of Canelo's mistakes.
Shannon Briggs, who has known Crawford since she was a young child, offers a personal viewpoint. According to him, watching Terence prepare for a mega fight like this is emotional, and he truly believes Crawford will not only win, but also stop Canelo. Speaking from experience, Briggs acknowledges Crawford's progress and his keen attention. This fight is more than just a significant event to him. It marks the end of a protracted trip that will conclude with a triumphant declaration.
What did you make of all the pushing, the shoving, the build-up, the anticipation, the weight differences too?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great fight. I got Crawford by stoppage, and I've known him since he was a little kid, 12 years old. So to see him now fighting for a title in such a big fight, it's a great experience, great to see.
Last question for me then, how do you think Crawford stops him? How do you think he's able to work Canelo enough for him to stop the fight, knock him down? How do you think this is possible by Crawford style?
He gonna box him. He can fight both ways. He gonna trick him up. One thing Canelo showed is that he can be outboxed. But I think this time in the late rounds, I think Crawford gonna have something for him.
Shannon, always good to see you, my friend.
You're the best, champ. Let's go, champ.
In a more critical analysis, Al Bernstein notes that Crawford's weight increase isn't as significant as it may appear. He notes that Canelo has changed. From being the explosive force he was 5 years ago, Canelo's advantage has been somewhat diminished by age, tactical changes, and wear and tear. Bernstein feels that the current version of Canelo is beatable and a disciplined technician like Crawford might be the one to prove it.
Wait for Crawford to go up to. He started below 147, obviously, as a fighter, so he's going pretty far up in weight. Now, Canelo himself was a 154-pounder, so, you know, he went all the way up to 168, but there's a little difference there. And I think that that's a big issue. Now, whether that's enough to make it impossible for Crawford to win this fight, that remains to be seen. This is a different Canelo Alvarez. It's not the same one from 5 years ago, or 4 years ago, or even 3. So there's that. And then there's all the different eccentricities of each boxer. For Crawford, he's not going to hurt Canelo. But Canelo, almost nobody hurts Canelo. He's got a rock chin. But can Crawford, who isn't always a volume puncher, make sure that if he's being the boxer puncher, he throws enough punches to win every round? Right. That's important. Right. And for Canelo, if he doesn't hurt Terence Crawford, which he might, can he sustain in those later rounds where we've seen Canelo Alvarez from time to time just fade a little bit? Yeah. Crawford's a very good fighter into the later rounds. We saw him stop Porter, and we've seen him have other excellent performances. So, there's a lot of those questions swirling around. But right now, I don't know if I could pick either guy, really. I would have said Canelo Alvarez before.
The foundation of Crawford's style is grace, accuracy, and flexibility. His timing and distance management are unrivaled, regardless of whether he is facing an orthodox or southpaw opponent. He meticulously dismantles opponents by taking advantage of their mistakes and tendencies. Against Canelo, whose timing and strength are deadly, Crawford's best tool is his ability to set the pace and steer clear of pointless conversations. He is intelligent in addition to being talented.
Somebody whose style is based around being the bigger guy, being the stronger guy. But Crawford is a very cerebral, very technical boxer, and I think that's why I'd never really considered this before. But also, I didn't actually realize until I sat down properly and thought about this, just how much weight Crawford has been piling on when he gets into the ring after the weigh-in. And look, these are not numbers that are out of the ordinary, but he's obviously cutting himself down so much in camp from whatever his walking around weight is. And it must be muscle that he's taking off. And perhaps that's why he's only fighting once a year, because there will be some fat, of course there will be, but the dude is not overweight. The dude still looks pretty ripped from what I've seen when he's not in training camp. However, there's not that many photos of him with his top off when he's not actually in training camp. So it's really hard to tell what his body composition is when he's walking around at these big weights. But the fact is, his fight night weight was let's just call it 170 pounds.
The change from 147 to 168 pounds is noteworthy. Crawford, however, has taken a calculated approach to it. Whether it's a 2 or 3 division leap is up for argument. But the fact remains that no fighter has ever tried to become undisputed in 3 different classifications. Making history is Crawford's goal. Additionally, his physical change demonstrates that he is not merely gaining weight, but rather priming his body for optimal performance. His exceptional conditioning shows that he is leveling up rather than just bulking up.
69 let's just call it 170 pounds, which is huge, absolutely huge for a 154 pounder. Especially, it's just shocked me that he's come up from 135 and now he's still putting on that much weight. He's rehydrating that much at 154. And indeed, to bring us even closer to the modern day, the thing that was posted, and again, this is the second time we've seen this, is why I'm kind of thinking there's a bit of a theme here with Crawford posting his weight when he's not actually in full training camp. On February the 9th, 2025, he posted an Instagram story and he showed himself weighing 186 pounds on a gym scale. Now, that's so much bigger than I imagined Crawford would be. I never thought this guy would walk around at 186 pounds, which for anyone who needs the conversion is just over 84 kilograms. And now look, it's not an unthinkable weight for someone, but for someone who has fought as low as Crawford has, who is generally as lean and as in shape as Crawford is, that's a lot of weight. I've tried to find photos of Crawford from around that time, and I can't really dig anything out to show you what he was looking like at that weight. But that's pretty big. And there was a bit of a joke in the Piers Morgan interview I noticed and I clocked, where Piers asked him what he was weighing right now. He said, I weigh 155 pounds. And I just thought to myself, there's absolutely no chance. Why would he bulk up and then in the space of just over 4 months cut the best part of 31 pounds? Like, that makes no sense. So he was definitely joking about that, just like he was joking about only earning 10 million for this fight. So when he fights Canelo, he's going to be at the super middleweight limit, which is 168 pounds. So when you look at that, you sort of go, okay, that's an 18-pound weight cut, which is not bad at all. But 186 is his walking around weight. So what will his weight be that he actually cuts from to make 168?
Benavidez has never held back when speaking. In his charge against Canelo for allegedly using steroids has sparked a new debate. His insistence that he has no doubts about it casts doubt on Canelo's physical superiority, even if they haven't been verified. Such assertions reinforce pre-existing doubts about Canelo's training and abilities, especially as he gets older and competes against fighters like Crawford, who are technically better, but naturally lighter.
He was 100% confident in himself. I don't know why he wouldn't fight me, especially since, seeing that everybody in his team is on steroids, which means including him. So he never got off.
You think he's on steroids?
Of course. How does five?
You saw De La Hoya
How do five people out of your camp get tested positive for steroids? Right. You know what I mean? No, all those fucking dudes in that camp are dirty.
Crawford's behavior has been intense during the build-up. He gave Canelo a hard shove during the face-off, demonstrating that he is not scared of the larger fighter or the bigger name. Analysts like Showbiz claim that this instance showed Crawford's more aggressive, ferocious side. He's rising up not just in weight, but also in attitude. Before the bell even rings, he tries to gain mental dominance.
And Canelo uses his legs, he uses his core, and then his neck itself to lift up Bivol like Bivol was a featherweight. That is a huge representation of how strong Canelo is. When you look at his workouts, you can tell why he was able to do that. All these damn neck exercises that I wouldn't dare do. Okay, that stuff looks painful. The squatting and all that stuff that he's doing is exactly why Canelo Alvarez, honestly, is a strong fighter. He tried to do it again with William Skull. William Skull shook out of it, but he is a bull. Listen, Terence Bud Crawford is strong. He is, okay? And he understands leverage and he understands those things because he wrestled. Honestly, very true. But Saul Canelo Alvarez is also extremely strong. Now, let me know how you feel in the comments below. We're in the zone, war room.
Antonio Tarver underlines that this result won't be determined solely by weight. He dismisses the notion that Canelo is a huge physical barrier, pointing out that abilities will be more important than weight. Tarver claims that he might have a chance if the ferocious and shrewd Canelo who defeated Caleb Plant shows up. However, Terence will take advantage of those lapses and take control if the slower,
more deliberate
form emerges.
About this before, Crawford and Canelo, Bud County. Bud County. You're a fighter who's moved up right in weight and won fights. So what is it that what questions in your mind as the smaller fighter moving up and in the ring are you trying to ask yourself in the ring? What questions are you kind of like?
No, bro, I know Crawford, and he's different. And see, the only thing different here is Canelo is not a bigger guy at that weight. He's not like he's standing 6'1", 6'2", like Bivol or one of those guys. So on fight night, the size is not going to be the main thing, the most important thing. It's going to be skill set. And both of them coming with their skill set. But what I haven't seen lately is the opponents that Canelo is facing. Those guys aren't going to get him ready for a guy like Crawford. So Canelo is going to have to go back to that grinding, turn back the hands of times too. Because if he show up like he did against Skull, he show up like he did against Benavidez, not Benavidez, but Berlanga, and the other guy. What's the other guy name? Munguia. Bro, those guys, he didn't have enough activity. The last time I saw Canelo that would beat, I think, this Crawford was Plant. Now, if that Canelo come cutting the ring off, throwing combination to the head and to the body, active, it's going to be a fight. It's going to be a hell of a fight. You know what I mean? And I still think I give Crawford a chance even then. So that's what type of talent
I think Crawford is. He's definitely going to have to get used to that power.
Demarcus Brown rejects the idea that Crawford is worried about Canelo's influence. He says that Crawford is used to taking bigger shots because he frequently spars with bigger opponents, boxers with heavier frames. Crawford, according to Brown, is not just ready for power, but also at ease with it. Experience sparring like that makes a difference. When Crawford maintains his composure in the face of criticism, Brown thinks it will be evident in the ring.
Both of them. I like both of them. I'm a fan of both of them, but I'm going with Crawford. Typically fighters, they don't want to say who they want to go for because they don't want to be biased.
Yeah.
And much respect to Canelo, but I'm going Bud.
Is there a particular reason why? Like, you're a guy that's moved up in weight, so you know exactly what it feels like to get hit by these bigger guys. Is that something that's going to play in the back of his head? Like,
of course,
gotta watch out.
It is, but it's not, because at the end of the day, it's not like he just been in there, got in there with somebody bigger than him. He's always probably been sparring with bigger guys. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's that boxing IQ, which William Skull didn't put up no fight, but he showed somewhat of a blueprint to get this guy, in a space where he's confused.
Yeah.
And he can't touch the target that's in front of him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I just think Bud got that IQ.